All right, James Humbert, how are you?
I'm doing good, man.
How do you feel about Nairobi so far?
Nairobi is an amazing country. Beautiful scenery. I literally feel like I'm in another world sometimes when I'm just taking a taxi ride. The people out here are very open, very easy to talk to, and they always constantly just communicate with people to always remind me that I am in a much more accepting place than many of the places I've been to. And I've been all over the world.
A much more welcoming culture, you would say.
Absolutely.
So how do you have the ability to travel? Because we came together from Turkey. You've been to Germany. You've been many places before this. How are you able to sustain this lifestyle?
Well, I do have a job with the federal government, and I do have my retirement pension. But aside from that, I'm very financially savvy, and I do budget my money very well. I've met people who bring in like 2 times more than me, and they still like be worrying about bills and making mistakes and doing silly things. And when I show them a budget sheet, they're blown away by how much money they're spending on things that they really don't even need. So it's kind of something else.
Do you find that spending time outside the United States allows you more freedom with your finances? How so?
Freedom with my finances, yes and no. Because of the way I budget my money, I do know how to live in expensive cities in the United States and do very well. However, there are a lot of things in the United States in order for you to enjoy socializing and being a part of society that is extremely expensive, even if you're not living in expensive cities. People find that out the hard way. They actually don't even realize how much money they're spending on little things that they think they're little, but they're actually spending a lot of money on these things just to go out and eat $200-$300. If you're just treating 2 or 3 of your friends, almost $500-$600. And you ask people, what do you do on a regular basis? Like, what do you do with your life? And when they tell you that I do this, that, and the third, and they kind of move their fingers like it's just a little thing. And you actually add that up, it's like they're spending almost like $600-$700, almost $1,000, like in a week, just on just regular basic entertainment, movies and everything. Traveling, I'm realizing that I don't really have a need to do a lot of those things because I'm enjoying just being outside, period. Just kicking it and having, a nice little glass of freaking cold water. And I'm just feeling like because I am constantly on vacation out here. I'm constantly on vacation because I feel the feeling of the pressure is off of me of all the social norms in the United States that make me feel uncomfortable. The racism, the difficult people, the politics constantly bombarded in your ear all the time. Even though I do like talking politics, but when I'm out here and knowing that I'm around people who are not going to stress me out, that is, you would imagine how much you would have to spend to experience that in the United States if you can. I don't really know if you could.
It can be done, maybe. It can be done, but for example, it doesn't matter how much money you spend if you have kids. A school shooting, because there's still always that concern of, okay, they're in a good school, but even those areas aren't even safe from that. So what would you say out of those things you listed was the number one thing that made you want to start traveling around the world to find out how much better life could be by taking control?
It's a combination of racism and violence because they kind of coincide with each other. I had some experiences right before leaving. And so I just said, I had got fed up. I said, I want to see the world. Now, I started traveling when I was 18 years old in the United States Navy. So I had known a long time at a very young age that there's more to this world than the United States, obviously. But I wanted to know what more throughout the world that I was going to enjoy because I know that I look for certain things. And I found that out that I can find that what I'm looking for in just about every other country, any country I go to. There's some countries that, like Turkey, for example, that are a little too off. But even I was finding my little niches, and even in Turkey, even though it was uncomfortable. You know, like when we're out there, you know,
at the jazz club.
At the jazz club, it was like I could be doing that every weekend. Where I was staying had a nice little grocery store not too far from me. I just walk right downstairs in there. I find a nice little place, really nice apartment. So I find my niche, and that actually is something I discovered even more in depth by traveling, because I found out my little things that make me feel comfortable and complete. Once I have this, that, and the third, and I have my little 1, 2, 3 things, now I know that I'm comfortable. In other words, I'm actually finding myself. I used to hear people say that all the time, and I always thought that I did understand what they were saying, but I always thought that was silly, because I always felt that if you put in a certain situation, you're going to find yourself anyway, because you're going to be forced to use all your tools in order to solve your problems, to complete your goals. Once you complete the goal, you found out a lot about yourself, because you're going to be forced to use your best, to be at your best, or you just fail.
So one thing I say about traveling is people travel to improve their lives, whether that's lowering your cost of living, getting away from racism and violence.
Yes.
Refugees improve their lives by fleeing a war, you know, or famine or something like that, or getting away from toxic culture or politics that, you know, disturb your peace. So would you say that traveling has allowed you, like you kind of already said it, build your own life the way how you want?
That's exactly what you should be doing. Because what are you doing? If you are traveling, and even if part of your reason, a very small part of your reason is to find yourself, you should definitely be looking for your comfort zone throughout the world, because you really don't know what's out there until you actually travel anyway. So you should definitely have those kind of goals already set in place for when you get there. That way, when you go, you would know exactly what to look for to find your happiness within wherever country you go to.
Well, tell me this. I've never traveled. How would you tell me to pick my first place, or the types of places, or maybe even a continent that I could go to find my comfort zone?
Absolutely. There are a lot of little things. One, you really shouldn't travel if you have a lot of health problems. However, I'm not gonna knock that. So those things are important. You're gonna need certain things to make sure you're comfortable and you're healthy and you're in good health. That you don't have to travel back to the United States. So make sure those things could be met. What kind of little needs that you have, that if you don't meet those needs, you're going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to have problems. Make sure those needs are met. Now, I'm being very broad about it because people are extremely different. Make sure that you can actually get around in that country. For example, there are countries that speak zero English. Do you know how to move about without being able to speak that language? Or do you know how to learn enough about that language and that culture in order for you to move around and navigate that country? If you're like me, you can adapt no matter what. I am able to just move about, but I do like to try to find countries that can speak a little bit of English. Are you someone who's going to eat out all the time? Is your health healthy enough? Are you healthy enough to be able to eat out every day? Because that food that's coming to your apartment is probably not going to be that healthy. Are you going to cook? You want to find somewhere you're going to have a close grocery store. Those are my things. Do you need a gym? Do you need to communicate with family? How well is the internet? Do you need to travel? Can you afford to be able to stay in the housing area that is going to be where you want to stay? You need to have it upscale. Can you afford to live there? Can you afford to travel and other things? So you better do a very, very well thought out budget sheet. And you better do your research to find out exactly how much is that, how far are you going to travel to, all the things that you're going to need, all the places and the locations that you're going to need to go to. You need to be able to understand the laws out there. If you don't understand the laws, you may make mistakes because of the way you need to move out there in order to meet your needs. You may brush shoulders with the law, depending on what you're going to do. Make sure that you can actually leave, and get back to the United States whenever you need to. That's very important. So more than anything, make sure your personal needs are easily met wherever you're going, and you do a very well thought out budget sheet about that country. Because every country is different. There are many people who have traveled and found out the hard way they can't afford taxis. They can't afford to eat. They need a haircut. They need medication. They need they can't handle the weather and the water. It doesn't have AC in the apartment, but you can't take living in the hot. Now you're uncomfortable. All these things can make your trip incredibly miserable, and you actually think it's little before you get there. So take that in consideration.
So for me, everything that you just described, like my needs are met, the cost of living works for me here, there's a good amount of activities, is Nairobi. I've been to 25 countries, and this is where God was telling me I needed to be back. I'm still going to travel, but this is where I needed to be at. So if you guys want to know how you can come to Nairobi, if you're interested and you want to know if it's right for you based on those things that James just said, click the link in the description of first pinned comment and schedule a consultation. Now, what are your comfort zones around the world?
My comfort zones around the world, one, I need a neat, clean, modernized apartment. I cannot go down anymore. I will be miserable. If it's hot, I need AC. If it's cold, I need a little bit of heat, because when I'm working, even though I do like the cold when I'm working, and I'm just like focusing on, I'm typing and I'm making phone calls and everything, and I'm talking to clients, I can't have it too cold in there. That's going to be a little uncomfortable. When I'm typing and trying to be creative, I need to be comfortable in my environment. Something small, I need to have really good lighting so I can sit in the mirror and cut my hair. I'm learning that has been a little bit of a problem. Actually, a big problem. I need to have access to a grocery store. And you already know that everywhere I've stayed, my grocery store was right there. So that's a plus. I need to be able to, I would say I'm actually pretty comfortable in difficult environments. So these things are luxury things for me. Those things are luxury. Can I do without it? I already have. These are luxury things, but because I can afford to, and a lot of places I want to go to have that for me, I look for them. So when I go to Airbnb, I check off a lot of boxes. I do. You already know when I show you, it's like I check off a lot of boxes because I know what I like, and I know that when I have all these little things around me, it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to navigate and enjoy that country. Because if something's missing, like if I got to go drive all the way out for a grocery store or a gym, access to a gym. I do like it when I could just walk downstairs and go to a gym, and I always had that everywhere I went. Those things are very nice, and it makes the trip very, very very comfortable. Simplicity. Oh my God, that's a perfect word. Because you got to understand, you may go to a country and you may book it for 2 months, and you may say, you know what, there's a lot about this country I don't like, but there's a few things I do. You're able to still enjoy that country when you actually go somewhere and you're like, I'm not feeling it. And you could just hop in a nice taxi. Everything's perfectly in a budget sheet. Not worried about money. Can I afford this, that, and the third? And go back to your place of where you at. And it's nice and comfortable. You can kick back like where you are right now. You're in the middle of like the forest damn near. You know what I'm saying? Tropical shit all around you. And you're comfortable. And you're happy. You're in your comfort zone at your Airbnb or your hotel or your apartment, depending on how long you're going to be somewhere. That's very, very important. And you better make sure you can comfortably afford all of that. Mm-hmm. Go on Airbnb. I'm not trying to sell Airbnb, but I use them a lot. And see what it is. Check all those boxes, everything. Don't worry about what it costs. And then circle the area where you want to go. You're just like, well, I don't know what part I want to live to. That's research. That's what consultations are for. And once you find out this is the exact location I want to be, start searching for places there. And you may find it perfect where you find everything that you're going to need is walking distance. Now, if you do something like that, your trip is going to be even better. Make your trip better. No, just like, I just want to be part of the land. I just want to go out there and just do it like the locals. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I don't know why people say that.
You do not want to do that. You don't. You're American. That's not. You're just not built like that. And if you think you are, there's a lot of safari trips in the United States that you can actually go to and enjoy. It's just like Survivor. They got that. They got real Survivor things. You can go there and see how you like it. See if you like it. Bugs eating you and you're dirty and there's no cold water. Go for it.
Yeah, because for example, people love to say live like the locals. Okay, let's do averages. The average local in Kenya, I believe, is $350 a month.
A month.
All right. Okay, I wouldn't even be able to stay here for that price.
Nope.
The average American is what, somewhere around 4,000. Compare that average lifestyle to this average lifestyle. If you are comfortable dropping that far, I mean, you might as well stay where you're at. Because a $350 a month lifestyle in Kenya, I can tell you, is nothing like a $4,000 a month lifestyle in the United States. It's not even up for discussion.
Yeah.
It's the place you can live. Your rent is going to be max $75 to $100. Where are you staying in Nairobi for that? You know, so that living like a local. Yeah, listen to James and check off all the boxes.
Check off all the boxes.
Get your comfort zone in your place. So, from what I've seen in your place, you have your comfort zone. You cook. You have a pool. You have a gym at your place.
That's right.
You have a grocery store nearby.
That's right.
What did you expect Nairobi to be like before you got here?
I did do my research, so I did look on the internet. I looked at YouTube's. I know some people say, that's just it. See, that's the internet and YouTube. There are people that does what Austin does, and they give out a lot of information. A lot of stuff that probably should be in a consultation, but you got it. So you do your research. I was expecting it to be a little bit like Thailand. Okay? And it kind of is. There's a lot of similarities to Thailand, but it's not Thailand. And I expected it to be very foragey, and it is. I really thought it was going to be a lot hotter. I thought it was going to be real hot here. So I did mess up. There was some mixed information about the weather here. They're a little confusing. But now I know it can get extremely cold here. It is often not that hot. But it does get warm, and the weather is kind of tricky. Almost as tricky as Germany. Germany has very tricky weather. It could be 55, and at least 20 minutes later, it jumps all the way up to 75 degrees. That's Germany. And I asked a local, and I said, yeah, it does that all the time, but lately it's been even worse. And I said, you think global warming? They said, probably, because this is weird. This is crazy weather. And then right after 75, then it'll just start raining. All in one shot. That's Germany. Has it happened here? No, but it does. It has been like 65, and then really hot, and it dropped back down to around like 50, and like be super cold. So that's a little weird, but that's what you expect here. So there's a lot of leather jackets being sold in Nairobi. It does get cold. I expected people to be, I was wrong. I expected the people to be indifferent about me as a black American because a lot of things I researched, I didn't think they would mistreat me. I thought they would just see me as, I guess, an interesting figure. And I knew that I would be treated different than other races of people. Now I'm talking about racism. I'm just talking about they're going to have different expectations of me. In other words, the proper use of the word prejudice, which is just to prejudge an assumption based on what you already know, whether it's wrong or not. I did feel that the people would be friendly here. I did feel that because I met people from Kenya before, and every single person I've ever met from Kenya while I was in the U.S. were friendly and awesome, nice. So good job on that. And I did expect it to be fun. I knew I was going to have fun when I got here.
Okay. So you feel like you're welcomed and accepted as a black American in Kenya?
Absolutely. And that's important to me because a little journey through my life, I did not have a welcoming life growing up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It seems like everybody around me mistreated the shit out of me for fun, shits and giggles, or because they just could. So my childhood was not very great. However, there are a lot of good memories that I had, and I use that to motivate myself that if I can find a comfort zone and happiness in this horrible place that I grew up in, I'm pretty sure I can find life out there. I was like, something's better on the outside. I just got to keep going. I get something's better over here. I just got to keep going. If I push, I'm going to have a good life. That's how I got motivated. That treatment of being welcomed is very important to me, and it is a breath of fresh air, because out of every place I've been in the world, this is probably the most welcoming and the most positive culture shock I've ever experienced. Why? Because I'm surrounded by people who look like me, that are nice, calm, accepting, and smiling and happy, which is something I didn't even think existed.
I've said that when you first interviewed me. I said the same thing.
Yeah.
It was a culture shock coming here, and it was just peaceful.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much dry hating and just unnecessary tension.
Unbelievably peaceful.
Yeah.
I've gone to places and I had to stop. When I first got here, I would stop and look around. I was like, this is some us shit.
Yeah.
Never seen it before. It's here.
Yeah, so would you consider coming back to Kenya, or could you see yourself staying here for longer than 6 months?
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm buying land. I might buy land out here, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I might buy land out here. There's a lot of business. There's so many business opportunities out here. Every time we hang out, I'm at least 3 to 4 different business opportunities I see, and I'm realizing there's a lot of things that could do very well out here that are not out here. There are more and more big time, big name people from the United States who are black are coming out here. Meek Mill was just out here and he said it was just amazing. He loved it. There's a lot of people coming out here. So this place is growing and there's a lot of potential. So I got to come back. I mean, for me not to come back wouldn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me not to come back. But I do have a journey that I'm continuing on. There's a lot of little places that I need to go to. But of course, I already talked to you. I may have to go back to the United States for career advancement. Hopefully, I can do this quicker than I thought. But next time I get home, there's going to be a lot of family members I'm going to be talking to. And once they hear what I got to say, they're going to be making some pictures out here too. So they're coming. You take care of them when they get here.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad you enjoyed Nairobi. I felt like you should come out here and experience it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Trip is coming to an end. Hopefully you'll be back before December, because it's supposed to be very, very, or let's say at least January.
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot going. It should be even more fun. I've never stayed for December, but everybody tell me December is the best month to be here.
I got to tell you, there's been some concerts out here, and neither one of us felt comfortable going to the concerts. We were like, hell no. But maybe if the concerts are set up with VIP sections, which this was not, the ones that we were tempted to go out to, they were not. Maybe we could check them out. But there's a lot of things that are coming out here, and I'm seeing all the stars and the artists that are going to be coming out here and performing. I'm saying that's a good sign. So I look forward to it. But I got to say, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about just the world, just traveling and seeing. The only downside I learned about traveling is everyone wants to be like the United States. Yes. And what this means is people need to get out and see the world right now, because at some point, the entire world is going to be exactly the same. Yeah,
everywhere does have that Americanization creeping into it.
Talking like us, and when I say us, I mean us.
Yeah.
Our language, our slang, our gear, our shoes, our clothing, our style, the way we dance, the way we move, the way we... everything. They're doing it just like us. Even in countries that don't like black people, they listen to our music. They do our style, they talk like us, they move their hands like us. Let me explain something to you. When you do not like a people, there is no way you would love and enjoy talking like them, dressing like them, listening to their music, and the whole 9 yards. That does not make sense. And when I see that, when I go out to the world, I'm realizing what it's about. And what it's about is everyone is shooting for a status in this world, and they realize that what's the requirements of that has been focused on the way we do things. They just don't want us to enjoy it with them. And that's strange. And that just tells me that we're moving in the right direction. We're actually literally teaching the world how to be cool.
I would agree.
We really are. So eventually
point.
they're just going to have to say, you know what? You guys, why don't y'all come hang out with us? Because we basically trying to be like y'all. I think we figured that out a long time ago. So, but anyway, the world is literally, they basically coming around to realizing that we're trend makers, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all is black people. We need travel, get out the world and see the world. It will change you in ways you can possibly imagine. And a small part about it changing is when you feel accepted and you feel comfortable and you don't feel like you have to be extra, you actually feel more comfortable and you start to focus on yourself. And as a result of that, you advance as a human being. Mm-hmm. Because you're no longer afraid, and it is a fear. It's fear of why you try to stay in this comfort zone. And you try to do everything, and everything you're doing to fit in society, you're actually being safe, and that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely something that you now have to take into consideration.
Yeah, take the leap of faith and find out what the world is really about, and you'll find yourself in the process.
Absolutely.
So those are all the questions I have for you. What is your YouTube channel and whatever else you have to add?
It's going to be james.humbert77. That's my Instagram. And my YouTube is also James Humbert. So you can find me on YouTube. And right now it's called The Best of Us, my YouTube channel. You go there. I haven't been putting out a lot of videos out, but I'm working on that and everything. However, what I did put out does give out a lot of little information to give you an idea of what I've learned and what I picked up from my journey and things that you can learn and to set you up on the right track for your journey as well. Not to mention that my connections are even more advanced on this. So through me, you can connect to people that are they're doing this for a living. Yours truly, the gentleman who was interviewing me, Mr. Austin Howland. So do come to my page, do come to my Instagram, and you can connect with me, ask me questions, and I'll look out for you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you letting me interview you for the channel today. Thank you for giving everybody information on that may be on the fence about traveling. Maybe they're afraid to travel, and you tell them what your experience has been like and what the benefits are and how you've learned about yourself doing this as well.
Absolutely.
So, also, like you mentioned, if you guys would like to speak with James and you guys want to take an hour of his time up, click the link in the description, first pinned comment, and we'll connect you to, and you guys can get started and get a plan started for yourself as well.